All right, welcome to another deep dive where we take a deep dive into some really fascinating stuff. Today it's Chaos Magic, and our guide is Chaos Magick Deciphered by Asamod.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. You know, most books on the topic, they're all about Crowley and Western esotericism, but this one kind of flips the script, goes way back to Sumerian and Egyptian roots.
Oh, wow. See, that's what I love about these deep dives. Always something new to discover. But okay, Chaos Magic, I gotta admit, the name itself kind of throws me off a bit. Sounds, well, chaotic.
Right. Everyone thinks it's just like randomness and disorder.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's more about, think of it like potential, pure potential, like the universe before the Big Bang.
Okay, so not things falling apart, but more like anything could happen.
Exactly. Like that primordial soup right before creation.
I like that, the primordial soup. And this isn't just a modern idea, right?
No way. Ancient cultures were all over this. The Egyptians, for example, they had none. The primordial waters of chaos, where everything sprang from, that order from chaos thing, that's like chaos magic in a nutshell.
Order from chaos. Makes me think about chaos theory, from modern science.
Right.
Like the butterfly effect. Tiny thing can cause huge, crazy outcomes.
Totally. It's all connected. Even karma, people think it's strict cause and effect, but it's way more chaotic than that. Those ripples, they go out in totally unpredictable ways.
Wow. Chaos theory and karma. Now, that's a deep dive I never expected. But okay, let's shift gears a bit. How did this whole chaos magic thing even start? Was it like a sudden boom or more of a slow burn?
Well, the term itself, chaos magic, it kind of took off in the late 70s. Peter J. Carroll's Liber Null and Psychonaut and Ray Sherwin's The Book of Results, those were big. But the idea is they were already bubbling under the surface.
So it was more like different streams coming together.
Yeah.
Ancient wisdom, modern thought, all that.
Exactly. Like, take Austin Osman Spare, early 20th century. He developed sigilization, which chaos magic uses a lot, but way before the term even existed. And, shamanic traditions all over the world, they were tapping into unseen forces and altering consciousness forever. That's straight up chaos magic, even if they didn't call it that.
It's like it's always been there, just waiting to be rediscovered.
Yeah.
But okay, let's get to the nitty-gritty. What makes chaos magic different? What's its secret sauce?
Well, one big thing, it treats belief as a tool. Not like dogma, but a tool. You pick up a belief, use it to get what you want, then boom, discard it when you're done.
So it's not about being stuck in one system.
No way.
It's more like you become a collector of beliefs, use what works, ditch the rest.
Exactly. You're not bound by any one system. You pick and choose.
That's pretty radical. But doesn't that create like a paradox? How can you have a system that rejects systems?
Haha, right. But that's the beauty of it. All systems are just frameworks, mental models. Chaos magic makes you aware of those models so you can pick the one that works for you right now. It's like having a toolbox full of beliefs and you're the master craftsman.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. But let's get practical here. How do you actually do chaos magic?
Yeah.
It can't just be all theory and philosophy, right?
Right. Asamod gets into some cool practices, like working with elemental energies, earth, air, fire, water. They're not just physical, they're forces you can tap into for personal transformation and all that.
Oh, so we're talking like harnessing the power of nature itself.
Exactly. Say you want to banish something negative, a bad habit, whatever. You could do a banishing ritual with one of the elements. Like with earth, you might write down what you want to banish, bury it, and boom, gone. Back to the earth to transform.
So it's using the elements as a focus for your intention.
Yeah. And each one has its own vibe, its own symbolism. Burning something to release it, washing it away in water, scattering it to the wind. Each one has its own power.
I'm really digging this blend of ancient symbolism and modern ideas about energy and intention. It's like a new spin on ancient wisdom. But speaking of blending old and new, how does chaos magic deal with the ego? A lot of spiritual traditions, they say, gotta get rid of the ego.
Totally. But chaos magic, it's like, hold up, the ego is part of us. It's not good or bad, it just is. It's about managing it, using its energy in a positive way.
So instead of trying to erase it, you work with it.
Like exactly. It's about embracing all parts of yourself, even the messy ones, and seeing their potential for growth.
I like that. It's like making friends with your ego instead of fighting it. But there's another cool thing about chaos magic, right? This idea of tapping into the subconscious, like hacking your own mind. And that's where those sigils come in, right?
You got it. Sigils, they're like a direct line to the subconscious. They bypass all the filters and resistance of the conscious mind. Coded messages that your deeper self just gets.
Okay, this is where it gets really mind-bendy for me. So how do you make one of these sigils? Is there like a set of instructions, or is it more of a gut feeling thing?
Well, Asamod is a clear example, using an anagram and numerology. Let's say you want more confidence. You'd write out, I want to be more confident, remove any repeating letters, and then there's this numerology table. You convert each letter into a number.
So you turn your desire into numbers.
Yep.
And then what? You just repeat those numbers to yourself?
Those numbers become the blueprint for your sigil. Imagine a grid, you connect the numbers on the grid with lines, and that creates this abstract symbol. And because it's so abstract, your conscious mind doesn't immediately recognize it, which is actually good.
Wait, good. Why is that good? Wouldn't you want your conscious mind on board with the goal?
The conscious mind loves to overthink, analyze, doubt. But the subconscious, that's where the real power for change is. And sigils, they sneak past the conscious mind's defenses.
Oh, sneaky. So it's like giving your subconscious a mission without all the conscious chatter getting in the way.
Exactly. But then to activate it, you need gnosis.
Gnosis.
Yeah, it's like an altered state of consciousness. Through meditation, trance, even intense emotional experiences.
You go into this super receptive state, almost like a trance, and then really focus on the sigil.
You're imprinting it on your subconscious with as much energy as you can muster. And then you release it, let the subconscious do its thing.
It's like planting a seed and trusting it to grow.
Exactly. No digging it up every 5 minutes to check. But get this, Asamod takes this whole sigil subconscious programming thing and connects it to, wait for it, memes.
Memes, like internet memes.
Yep. He calls it mimetic magic. Memes, like sigils, are units of information that can replicate and spread, influencing beliefs and behavior. They tap into the collective subconscious, often without us even realizing it.
Hold on, are you saying those funny cat videos are magic?
Maybe not all of them, haha. But think about how fast a catchy song, a funny picture, or a shocking headline can spread online. They go viral, almost like they're infecting our minds, shaping how we see the world.
Wow, that's kind of freaky, actually. It's like accidental magic operating under the radar.
Right, but what if we could harness that intentionally? That's what mimetic magic is about. Consciously creating and spreading memes with a specific goal, understanding how they work on the collective subconscious.
Whoa, that's some next level stuff. Okay, we got to dive deeper into mimetic magic later. But before we do, let's get back to some of the other techniques in the book. One that really caught my eye was creating astral servitors.
Ah, servitors. They're basically entities you craft from your own consciousness, programmed to do specific tasks, like extensions of your will, operating in the unseen realms.
Okay, now we're talking about magical helpers like summoning spirits or something.
Asamod is very clear they're not independent beings. They're extensions of your consciousness.
So it's more like delegating a task to a part of your own mind.
Yeah, but giving it a specific form, energy, and purpose.
Okay, that makes it a little less spooky. So I wanted to create a servitor. Where do I even start?
First, define its purpose. What do you want it to do? Protection, inspiration, healing, something else.
Let's go with creativity. I could use a boost in that department. Could I create a servitor to, inspire me with new ideas?
Totally. And what form would this creative servitor take? A muse, a wise old sage, a burst of pure energy.
Ooh, I like the idea of a phoenix.
Yeah.
Constantly bursting with new ideas, fiery inspiration.
Awesome. And what would you call this fiery muse?
How about Ignis for fire and inspiration?
Ignis, the phoenix of inspiration. I like it. Now, how would you charge Ignis with energy and intention?
Would it be like charging a sigil? Meditation, visualization, focusing my will.
Exactly. Visualize Ignis, feel her presence, reinforce her purpose. You can also give her offerings of energy, like a dedicated candle or incense associated with creativity.
It's like nurturing a thought form, feeding it until it becomes this powerful ally.
And the more you work with her, the more defined, potent, and responsive she becomes.
It's like a feedback loop. The more I give, the more she grows. But what happens when I don't need her anymore? Do I just, banish her?
Not necessarily. She can fade naturally as you withdraw your focus, or you can reabsorb her energy, integrating those creative insights. Or you can do a ritual to release her with gratitude for her service.
It's about respect, acknowledging they're extensions of ourselves, not just tools to be used and discarded.
Definitely. And that brings us to the ethical considerations of chaos magic. It's powerful stuff, so you need awareness, discernment, and a solid moral compass.
Absolutely. With great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
This is all so mind-blowing. I feel like we've only just dipped our toes into the ocean of chaos magic.
There's so much more to explore. Mimetic magic, techno magic, working with deities. But for now, let's take a breath and let everything sink in.
I need a moment to process all this awesome weirdness. Join us next time as we continue our deep dive into Chaos Magick Deciphered.
Hi everyone! Next week we will have 3 podcasts about very interesting books on Chaos Magic because, although they are not specific lines, they are very useful to those who are willing to use them, both in concrete jungles and in nature. This is here at
Chaos Magic Time.
Before we jumped into this, I had this idea that Chaos Magic was all about, like, summoning demons and causing mayhem.
Oh yeah, totally. It's got the kind of edgy reputation. But as we're seeing, it's way more about, like, personal transformation and stuff.
For sure. And remember those servitors we were talking about, Asamod? He's got a really interesting take on them.
Yeah, he stresses that they're not dangerous.
Right, as long as you know what you're doing.
Okay, so it's not about conjuring some external being.
Nope.
It's more like you're delegating to a part of your own mind.
Exactly. You're in control. You set the purpose, the limits, the whole deal. It's like creating a specialized tool for a specific job.
Gotcha. So if I'm ready to build my first servitor, where do I begin?
First things first. What's its purpose? What do you need it to do? Protection, inspiration, healing, maybe help you achieve a goal.
Okay, let's go with protection. Could always use a bit more of that, you know?
Good choice. Now picture it. What form does protection take for you? A warrior, a guardian, a shield of light, or even a symbol like a fortress.
I'm seeing a lion. Strong, watchful, with golden fur that just radiates protective energy.
Love it. You're already bringing it to life. Now give it a name. Something powerful, something that resonates with protection.
How about Aureus? Kind of like aura and gold for that protective energy I'm picturing.
Aureus, the golden lion guardian. Perfect. You've got the blueprint, now let's energize it.
Okay, now we're getting to the magical part, right? How do I give Aureus the juice it needs to protect me?
Visualization is key. Spend time each day picturing Aureus, feeling its presence, reinforcing its purpose. You can also give it offerings, like a dedicated candle or some incense that aligns with protection. Even channel energy from your breath or hands into it.
So it's like feeding it with my attention and intention, helping it grow.
Exactly. And the more you work with Aureus, the stronger and more responsive it becomes.
Like a feedback loop, right? The more I give, the more it develops.
Absolutely. And get this, Asamod suggests even making a sigil for your servitor.
A sigil, so like its own symbol to focus its energy.
You got it. A visual point of contact, a way to quickly connect with and activate it when you need to. You can visualize it, keep it on your altar, even carry it with you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But what about when I don't need Aureus's protection anymore? Do I just banish it?
Not necessarily. You can let it fade naturally, reabsorb its energy back into yourself, integrating what you've learned from it, or do a ritual to release it with gratitude for its service.
So it's about respect,
Yeah.
you know, acknowledging that it's a part of me, not just a tool to be tossed aside.
Exactly. And that ties into the ethics of chaos magic. It's potent stuff, so it's crucial to be aware, discerning, and have a strong moral compass.
Couldn't agree more. Responsibility is key when you're dealing with this kind of power. Speaking of which, earlier you mentioned something called techno-magic. Sounds super futuristic.
Yeah, it's where magic and technology meet, using tech to enhance or amplify magical practices.
So like casting spells with computers or something.
Not quite that straightforward. Asamod acknowledges the potential, but he also debunks some of the wilder claims, like controlling minds over the internet.
So no virtual voodoo dolls then?
Not exactly. It's more about tech as a tool to boost your own abilities, not replacing traditional practices or crossing ethical lines.
Gotcha. So what are some examples of techno-magic in chaos magic?
Well, think about binaural beats or other sound tech to induce altered states of consciousness, helpful for meditation or visualization, or using tech to create and spread magical memes, tapping into that collective subconscious we talked about.
Oh, right. So we could be using technology to create those thought viruses intentionally for a specific magical goal.
Exactly. But that's where ethics become even more crucial, right? With that kind of reach, you got to be careful.
Absolutely. Great power, great responsibility. Now, what about these psychotronic devices I've heard about? Are those real or just hype?
Those are a bit controversial. Asamod is pretty skeptical. There's a lot of exaggeration out there, but he doesn't rule out the possibility that they can impact consciousness. More research needed, for sure.
Seems like techno-magic is still in its early stages, full of potential, but also potential risks. Definitely an area that needs careful thought and ethical awareness.
For sure. Now, shifting gears a bit, what about deities in chaos magic? It seems more traditional compared to sigils and servitors.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Does working with deities have a place in this system?
It can. Chaos magic is super flexible. You can pull from any system that resonates with you. But Asamod, he has a preference.
Like which ones?
He leans towards Anglo-Sumerian and Egyptian deities.
Why those specifically?
He argues they've been worshipped for ages, accumulating tons of power and wisdom, makes them potent allies for magical work.
So tapping into ancient lineages of power, like drawing from a deep well of magical energy.
Exactly. And he provides specific rituals and invocations for working with them, adapted to the principles of chaos magic.
That's fascinating how it bridges ancient traditions with modern practices. It's like a framework for personal exploration, drawing from the best of both worlds.
It is. Oh, and remember William S. Burroughs, the Beat Generation writer.
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
He was big on using tape recorders to mess with reality, called it the playback method. Recorded sounds, voices, played them back reversed or manipulated, hoping to create weird effects.
Sounds like audio alchemy, using sound for magical transformation.
Right. Burroughs thought these manipulated recordings could disrupt consensus reality, opening up new possibilities. Very chaos magic-y, breaking down fixed beliefs and all that.
So sonic chaos to shake things up and create new experiences. I dig it.
And it shows that magic isn't limited to old school tools. Anything that can alter perception, disrupt routines, introduce chaos, it's all fair game.
So the tools are all around us, just waiting to be used.
Exactly. But the most powerful tool, as Asamod reminds us, is our own mind. Our imagination, intention, belief, that's where the real magic is.
I love that. It's about realizing our own power, not relying on external stuff.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride so far.
Totally. And we've only scratched the surface of chaos magic. But one thing I keep coming back to is this mimetic magic idea. It's really powerful, you know?
Oh, yeah. Makes you think about the information we consume, the symbols we see, the beliefs that shape our reality.
Right. Whether we realize it or not, we're all caught up in this constant exchange of memes, and they can really affect our thoughts, feelings, actions, the whole deal.
It's like we're all spellcasters, in a way, creating and spreading these thought viruses. But some are definitely more harmful than others.
Absolutely. Like Asamod points out, propaganda, misinformation, hate speech, they spread like wildfire online. That's mimetic magic, but a dark side of it.
Yeah, cautionary tale for sure. Shows how belief in symbols can be manipulated for bad stuff too.
Right. It's a call to develop our own discernment, to question what we're told, and be mindful of the memes we put out there.
We all have a responsibility, whether we're aware of it or not, to use our magical abilities for good.
Couldn't agree more. But it makes you wonder, with all these memes flying around, how do we protect ourselves?
Right. It's like we need some kind of shield.
Asamod calls it mimetic immunity, our ability to resist those harmful memes. And like with physical immunity, there are things we can do to strengthen it.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me those mimetic immunity tips.
Number 1, critical thinking. Question everything, especially online. Do your own research, look at different perspectives, find the evidence. Don't just swallow whatever you're fed.
Be an active participant, not just a passive consumer. Got it. What else?
Know your emotional triggers. Memes thrive on emotions. If you can spot when you're being manipulated, you're less likely to get swept away.
So emotional intelligence is key.
Yeah.
Being aware of my reactions without letting them take over.
Exactly. And be careful about your information sources. Are they reliable, accurate, or do they lean towards sensationalism and bias?
It's like choosing your food carefully, right? You don't just eat anything.
Perfect analogy. And diversify your information diet. Don't get all your news from one place. Explore different viewpoints, even ones you disagree with.
So, challenge my assumptions, expand my understanding, and become more resilient to manipulation.
You got it. Mimetic immunity isn't about shutting yourself off or being cynical. It's about engaging thoughtfully, critically, with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Taking control of my own mental space, choosing the memes that align with my values. I like that.
It's about becoming a conscious participant, not just letting the mimetic winds blow you wherever.
Okay, I'm ready to take control. But before we move on, let's hear more about those deities. You were saying Asamod into ancient Sumerian and Egyptian ones.
Right. He digs that raw power and ancient wisdom. He even gives a technique for connecting with Tiamat, the Sumerian mother goddess of chaos.
Tiamat. Rings a bell, but Fill me in again.
She's this monstrous dragon goddess representing the chaotic forces of creation and destruction, often linked to the primordial ocean, the source of everything, order and chaos all mixed up.
Sounds intense. How do you connect with that kind of energy?
He provides a mantra to chant during meditation while visualizing Tiamat's chaotic energy.
A mantra, do tell.
It goes, Huber Tiamat voven, etemu Tiamat mushushurat, etemu. Etemu Tiamat umuapzu etemu.
Whoa, powerful stuff. What's it mean?
It translates to River Huber Tiamat, Dragon, Spirit, Tiamat, Serpent, Dragon, Queen, Spirit, Tiamat, Mother of the Abyss, Spirit.
Just hearing those words, I can feel the primal energy. But invoking such a powerful deity, that's kind of intimidating. What should I expect if I try it?
Remember, approach any magical practice with respect, intention, and understanding. It's not about literally summoning her, but tapping into the archetype she represents.
So aligning myself with those qualities, creation, destruction, transformation, letting them flow through me.
Exactly. You might experience a rush of creative energy, a shattering of limitations, even a deep connection to the universe's primal forces.
Sounds like a journey into the depths of my own subconscious, guided by this ancient force.
It is. But Tiamat's not the only one. Asamod also explores the Egyptian Ogdode, 8 primordial deities representing the forces of chaos before creation.
The Ogdode. Love a good ancient pantheon. Tell me more.
They're 4 pairs, each a duality. Amun and Amunet for invisibility, Heat and Hahet for infinite time, Nun and Nonet for primordial waters, and Kek and Kaket for darkness.
It's beautiful how these ancient cultures understood the importance of duality, the balance of opposites.
Right. And Asamod says we can work with these archetypal energies, invoking them for guidance and transformation. He even gives a specific invocation for connecting with them, using visualization, chanting, and movement.
So we can tap into these ancient wells of power and channel their energies.
Exactly. He also connects the Ogdode to the Chaos Sphere, the 8-pointed star. He sees it as a visual representation of Nun, the primordial waters where the Ogdode emerged.
So the Chaos Sphere is like a portal to these forces, a focus for our practice.
And that's a key takeaway here. Chaos magic isn't just about ideas, it's about putting them into practice, connecting with powerful forces and shaping reality.
It's about becoming the magicians of our own lives, stepping into our power and creating the world we want.
Beautifully said. As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, remember, chaos magic is a framework for exploration, tools, and techniques you can adapt to your own beliefs and goals.
It's about taking ownership of your magical practice, experimenting, pushing boundaries, finding what works for you.
Exactly. And Asamod book is a great starting point. It's full of information and practices to help you unlock your own potential.
We are and live here to enjoy life. Avoiding this means avoiding being ourselves. One of the ways people like to live is by learning more. And that's why I make these podcasts about books and about chaos magic. Here in Brazil, we are all educated to be cheap. That herd education to be socially accepted. So I thought that the popular objection to chaos magic would be very intense. I was wrong. Here, people are eager to learn and practice things that work for us Brazilians. It's not different outside of Brazil, but since English is not our native language, communication is a bit rigid. Anyway, I now make podcasts in English because just as many other people also liked them. I believe it is important to use these podcasts as a basis for at least Chaos Magic group to start discussions about them. However, I must point out that groups that are not practitioners of Chaos Magic will be very surprised when they practice these works that I recommended. And also I will recommend. Let's keep our hunger for learning strong here in Brazil or anywhere on the world. Hugs.
It's been mind-blowing exploring all this with you.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, keep exploring, experimenting, and discovering the magic within yourselves. Join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll continue to unlock the secrets of Chaos Magick Deciphered. All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been knee-deep in chaos magic, exploring sigils, servitors, mimetic magic, even techno-magic. It's been a wild ride. But there's one more piece of the puzzle from Asamod book I want to dig into. working with deities.
Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people. Remember how Asamod really likes those ancient Sumerian and Egyptian deities?
Yeah, he seems drawn to those pantheons specifically.
It's the sheer age of those traditions, you know? Those deities have been around for millennia, soaked up tons of power and wisdom. He thinks that makes them super potent allies for magical work.
It's like tapping into an ancient wellspring, a direct line to those primal energies, and he gives actual rituals and invocations for working with them.
Yeah, exactly. Tailored to chaos magic principles. It's like bridging ancient wisdom with modern practice. We touched on the Egyptian Ogdode before, those 8 primordial deities. I'm really curious to hear more about them.
Me too. It's like the ultimate power, couple times 4.
Haha, yeah. 4 pairs, each representing a duality. Amun and Amunet for invisibility, He and Hauhet for infinite time, Nun and Nanet for primordial waters, and Kek and Kukit for darkness.
Those ancient cultures, they've really got duality, those opposing forces that create balance. Light and darkness, time and timelessness, the potential for creation and destruction, all wrapped up in the Ogdode.
And Asamod says we can work with these archetypes, invoke them for guidance, inspiration, transformation. He even gives a specific invocation using visualization, chanting, and movement.
So it's not just like reading about them in a book. It's about actively engaging with these forces, inviting them into our practice.
Exactly. He also connects the Ogdode to that 8-pointed star, the chaos sphere, you know. He sees it as a visual representation of Nun, the primordial waters of chaos, where the Ogdode came from.
So the chaos sphere becomes like a portal, a focus for connecting with those primal energies.
And that's a key takeaway. Chaos magic isn't just heady concepts. It's about applying them, connecting with powerful forces, shaping reality.
And Asamod gives us a technique for connecting with Tiamat too. She's intense.
Oh yeah, the Sumerian dragon goddess of chaos. Pure primal energy. Remember that mantra he suggests using?
Give it to me one more time. It's like a sonic power-up.
It's Huber Tiamat Vovin, Etemu, 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 Tiamat Mashushu, Ahat, Etemu, Tiamat Tumu, Apsu, Etemu, Etemu.
Even without knowing what it means, I can feel the power in those words.
River Huber, Tiamat, Dragon, Spirit, 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 Tiamat, Serpent, Dragon, Queen, Spirit, 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 Tiamat, Mother of the Abyss, Spirit, Spirit, Spirit. As you chant, visualize her chaotic energy swirling around you.
It's like a sonic key unlocking a connection to this ancient force. What kind of effects can people expect from working with her energy?
It's different for everyone. Some people get hit with a wave of creativity. Others find it helps them bust through limiting beliefs, even face their shadow selves.
Chaos is a force for change, for breaking free from old patterns. That's powerful stuff.
It is. But remember, Asamod's clear that working with deities isn't about worship or expecting them to do stuff for us.
It's more about a relationship, right? Respect, humility, letting their energies guide us.
Exactly. Recognizing we're not separate from these forces, we're part of this web of energy that flows through everything. So, as we wrap up our Chaos Magic deep dive, it's important to remember there's no one right way to do this.
It's about finding what works for you, your own path.
Asamod's book gives us a ton of tools and knowledge, but ultimately, we're the ones who choose how to use them.
It's about taking responsibility for our own magical journey, right?
Absolutely. Experiment, push boundaries, figure out what works best for you.
It's been an incredible journey, exploring all this mind-blowing stuff with you.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to everyone listening, keep diving deep, keep exploring, keep discovering the magic within yourselves. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
A name to reshift your rights, Sumerian spells. I break the chains, I cast a shell.